Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Wednesday, June the 5th. Mel Zelenak is with us, our money expert. Can I call you that?
Right.
Retired professor at University of Missouri. Home economics, right?
Yes.
Home economics.
Well, it's human environmental sciences is what they call it. It hasn't been called home economics since we were kids.
Okay, so human and environmental sciences. Okay. So what are we going to deal with today with money?
Well, we're going to talk about, Paul, over my life, I estimate I've read hundreds of personal finance books. And my favorite of all time is the one that I want to talk about today. We've talked about it briefly, but we really have not touched on very much of it.
It's
called
Rich Dad,
Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It was a book I used in my classes. He has a revision on it now, and it's really just an update of the old Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The reason I'm bringing it up now, it's at the end of the school year, and this is an ideal time for kids and young adults to read this book and start understanding it. And basically, it tells you how to become financially independent. And no matter what kind of job you have or whatever, you really don't want to rely on that. It is the point of the book for your economic well-being, because as we all know, times change. You lose your job. You get dissatisfied with your job. And this gives you some ideas about how to basically live to be financially independent.
Now, isn't one of those tips to have passive income?
Yes, and
explain what passive
that's exactly
income.
what we've talked about in the past, but that's pretty well where we've stopped our discussions. Passive income, the best way to describe it is it puts money in your pocket every second of the day. So, for example, if you own real estate and you own rental property, every second of the day, if you're prudent in your purchase and prudent in your location and so forth, every second of the day you're making money.
All right, but if you have rental property, you also have risks that go with that rental property, right?
That's absolutely right.
You have risks that maybe the renters aren't going to pay their rent, or the renters cause some extensive damage that you have to take care of. You're responsible for it.
Well, if your contract, for example, has the provisions in it and you have enough security deposits, some of that's obviously going to be taken care of. Not necessarily all of it.
Right.
But we're not saying there are no risks. But the best thing to do if you're going to get into real estate, in my view, is to understand the process and don't overpay for that for that place on the front end. And that to me is one way to make sure that you're making money as soon as you walk into that property.
So is that the only passive investment?
No.
What are some of the other
Anything that would put money in your pocket every second of the day. The other obvious one that many people do participate in, much more so than real estate, would be stocks and bonds.
Yeah, the stock market. But right now, of course, it has its ups and downs. Right now, we're in a down cycle.
Okay, how much money have you lost in the stock market?
You know, I have got to be honest with you. I've stopped looking because it was making me nervous.
And that's very, very smart to do, because you haven't lost a penny in the stock market until you sell your stocks.
Well, I guess that's true, isn't it? Well, but if you look from day to day, it can start eating your stomach away.
Well, you shouldn't do that. Historically,
I just stopped looking at it.
Historically, you know the stock market is going to go up. And if you do it in a prudent way, and my view is the prudent way to do it, the easy way to do it, is index funds with Vanguard or somebody who charges very, very low fees. That's all you need to do with the stock market. You don't need a financial planner.
And you keep saving on a regular basis, month after month. Don't worry about whether the stocks are up or down. Just keep saving.
Yes, and save and start early.
Right.
I don't have the data in front of me, but I have an example where somebody starts investing when they're 19 years old and stops 8 years later, and somebody starts at the 8 years later, at 27 years old in this case, and continues throughout their life with the same investment program. So in other words, they're investing their entire life from there on out.
Oh,
the other person stopped, and the other person has almost double. The first person, the one who started and only invested for 8 years and stopped, has almost double the amount of money that the person did who started later in life.
Okay, that's providing the person who started early doesn't take any money out until
That's correct. Yeah.
Because that's that compounding, isn't
That's
it?
exactly right.
So
Compound
somebody could
interest.
start at 19, invest for just 8 years and stop. Somebody else starts 8 years later and invest for the rest of the life. The first one's going to make more money.
First one's going to make almost double the amount of money. That's in a Tony Robbins book, by the way. That's where I got that information.
So the bottom line here is, if you're young over there, Grace, she's 20 years old. If she starts right now, and
hopefully she started when she was younger.
Okay, the earlier you start, the better off you are.
She's starting to get a little over the hill right now because
at 20.
Yeah,
Right.
but seriously, Paul. Even starting an investment program with your children, even if it's a relatively small amount of money,
To teach the kids.
not only to teach the kids, but actually to start an investment program. So when a child is 3 years old, start the investment program then, and just make sure you're putting in X number of dollars a month or X number of dollars a week in that index fund with Vanguard, for example. And that person is going to be very, very wealthy by the time they're 20. Put it in a trust or something so they can't take their money.
Right. Okay, there's a lot of good advice, but the one book that you definitely recommend, it's available in the library.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not available now because I have the copy. I have the copy right here.
They only have one copy
From
at the library?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all
Well,
they
go take
have.
it back. You've read it before.
I am going to take it back. But what it tells you about Paul, there are some controversial things. One is that your house is your greatest asset. Do you believe that's true or false?
I believe it's true.
Okay. He suggests that it's not an investment. An investment puts money in your pocket. Your house takes money out of your pocket.
Yes, but it puts a roof over your head, too.
That's true, but it's not an investment.
All right, we're out of time. I disagree with you on that there, Mel.
Let's talk next time.
All right, out of time for today. Community Foundation of Central Missouri is our topic tomorrow. Thank you for listening. If something you'd like to hear or see, Pepper P, Missouri.edu. Bye-bye.